2 million years ago, somebody dropped you in the middle of the African savanna. No knife. No jacket. No fire. Nothing. You can't outrun a lion. You can't outclimb a leopard. You can't see in the dark, you can't smell a predator coming, and your strongest punch wouldn't even annoy a chimpanzee, let alone a hyena. Every single animal sharing the grassland with you is faster, stronger, or better armed. By every rule nature has ever written, you should be dead within a week. And yet here you are, watching this on a device more powerful than every computer NASA owned in 1969, sitting at the top of the food chain on every continent on Earth, including ones your ancestors had never even heard of. So what happened? How did the single most pathetic animal on that savanna end up running the whole planet? The answer isn't strength. It isn't speed. It isn't even brains, not really, not directly. The answer is a set of tricks so strange that if you saw them happening in real time, you wouldn't even recognize them as a survival strategy. Let's go through them. Trick 1. We are the worst runners and the best runners on Earth at the same time. Over a 100-meter sprint, almost every four-legged animal beats a human without trying. A house cat could outrun Usain Bolt. But stretch that race out to 26 miles, in the middle of the day, in the heat, and something strange happens. The horse loses. The cheetah is long gone, collapsed from overheating a mile back. The human is still moving. In 2004, biologists Dennis Bramble and Daniel Lieberman published research in the journal Nature laying out what's now called the endurance running hypothesis. Humans have a feature almost no other land mammal has: millions of sweat glands covering nearly the entire body, letting us dump heat while we move. Most animals cool down by panting, which means they have to stop running to breathe properly. We don't. We can run and cool down at the same time, for hours. There's a hunting technique still used today by the San people of the Kalahari called persistence hunting. No spear throw, no ambush. A hunter picks an antelope and just starts jogging after it. Not fast. Just relentless. The antelope sprints ahead, rests, sprints again. But it can't vent heat the way we can. After 2, 3, sometimes 6 hours in the midday sun, the animal collapses from heat stroke, and the hunter, who never stopped walking, simply catches up. We didn't outmuscle the animal kingdom. We outlasted it. Trick 2. We turned our arms into weapons nature never intended. Here's a fun one. In 2013, a Harvard researcher named Neil Roach studied why humans, alone among primates, can throw a projectile at 90 miles an hour. A chimpanzee, despite being roughly twice as strong as a human pound for pound, throws, like an angry toddler, maybe 20 miles an hour if you're generous. The difference is in the shoulder. Human shoulders store elastic energy like a slingshot being pulled back, then release it all at once. It's the same mechanism that lets a pitcher throw a fastball. That one anatomical quirk meant early humans could kill from a distance, without ever getting close enough for a predator to fight back. A spear thrown from 30 feet away turns the weakest animal on the savanna into the deadliest one. Trick 3. Fire didn't just keep us warm. It rewired our bodies. Every other animal eats its food raw and spends most of its day chewing and digesting it. A chimpanzee spends around 6 hours a day just chewing. Cooking changes the chemistry of food, makes calories easier to extract, and cuts digestion time dramatically. Anthropologist Richard Wrangham has argued for decades that cooked food is the reason human guts got smaller and human brains got bigger, because a body that no longer needs a massive gut to break down raw plants can afford to spend the energy somewhere else instead. Somewhere like 100 billion neurons. We didn't just survive the cold with fire. We may have grown our own intelligence with it. Trick 4, and this is the one nobody expects. We survived because we refused to leave people behind. In 1957, Archaeologists working in Shanidar Cave in northern Iraq uncovered the skeleton of a Neanderthal man who lived roughly 45,000 years ago. His arm had withered away, probably paralyzed since childhood. He was blind in one eye. His hearing was likely damaged. By any measure, he could not hunt, could not defend himself, could not have survived a single season alone. He lived into his 40s. Someone fed him for decades. Someone helped him move. Someone decided, again and again, day after day, that keeping him alive was worth the cost. That is not a story about weakness. That is one of the oldest pieces of evidence we have that cooperation, not muscle, was the actual survival tool. And it goes further than that. Anthropologist Kristen Hawkes has spent years studying a strange fact about our species. Human females are one of the only animals on Earth that live decades past the age they can reproduce. Every other primate, once a female stops reproducing, doesn't live much longer. We do. Hawkes calls this the grandmother hypothesis. Older women who could no longer have children of their own instead helped feed and raise their grandchildren, which meant younger mothers could have more children, faster, and survive more of them. Evolution didn't get rid of us once we stopped being useful for reproduction. It kept us around because we were useful for something else entirely: knowledge, help, hands. Which brings us to the last piece, the one that ties everything together. A lion is born knowing how to hunt. Its instincts are hardwired. A human baby is born knowing almost nothing at all. Everything we know, how to make fire, which berries will kill you, where the water is during a drought, has to be taught, person to person, generation to generation. And that should be a catastrophic weakness. Except it isn't, because it means human knowledge doesn't die when a human does. It gets passed down, and it compounds. A leopard alive today knows exactly what a leopard knew 100,000 years ago. A human alive today knows what 100,000 years of humans figured out, tested, argued about, and passed forward around a fire. That's not an animal with sharp claws. That's an entire species running on inherited memory. So here's what actually happened on that savanna. We weren't the strongest thing out there. We weren't even close. But we could run longer than anything that wanted to eat us. We could kill from a distance no other predator could match. We turned fire into extra calories and extra brain power. And when one of us got hurt or old or weak, the group carried them instead of leaving them behind. Every advantage you have right now, the roof over your head, the food in your fridge, the phone in your hand, exists because thousands of generations of people who had nothing decided that surviving together beat surviving alone. You didn't inherit strength from your ancestors. You inherited a habit. The habit of not giving up on each other. And somehow, that turned out to be the deadliest weapon on the entire planet.